take this out because I like to walk. My name is Brian. It's actually pronounced Agosta. It's probably wrong because of the original Italian. Like everybody has a wrong pronunciation of their name at some point. But my name is BrianAgosta.com, which is what I tell everybody because I have a website, like most of us probably do. And it makes you feel like a celebrity. So, tow truck dudes. I'm going to talk about how a tow truck dude kind of gave me a lesson about love. Not in that kind of way. It was totally platonic. I think. No. So, I used to be in love with a girl. And for like 8 years, off and on. And we met in college about 10 years ago. I'm about 30 now. We met in college and we grew up together. And for about 6 years, we were steady on dating up until last summer. And we grew up together, we did everything together. I knew her parents, she knew mine. We weren't married, but for 3 years we were living together. I hope that's cool with everybody. We totally weren't living in sin though. It was strictly her side of the bed, my side of the bed. That's not true. But yeah, so I told people that we broke up and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's not a breakup, that's like a divorce. And I'm like, you are so helping me, thanks. That puts it into perspective, that makes it better. She decided, I won't go too much detail on her end, but basically I'm kind of a chaotic person, and she's kind of not. It could be cultural, she's also Asian, and I'm kind of not. And I don't know if you could tell, Agosta, it's Italian. And she decided that she wanted to kind of grow up a little more outside of my chaos and try and find what it was she was looking for. And I was like, that's cool. I mean, it wasn't cool, but, you know, they say if you love somebody, you gotta let them go. So I let her go. And this was last summer. So we were living together at the time in Massachusetts, where I'm from, in a town called Medford. Is anyone here from Medford? Or?
I'm from Arlington. Somerville.
Nice. Somerville, Arlington? Andover, anyone?
Lennox.
What?
Lennox.
Lennox? I don't know what that is, I'm sorry. I'm not from Massachusetts originally, from upstate New York. But
Are you from, did you go to Tufts?
Milton.
I didn't go to Tufts, no. I'm 30, I don't go to school anymore. So we broke up, we were living in Medford, and I work up in Tewksbury. I work for Avid Technology doing web design. And I wanted to move closer. So I had to work full time. She's a guidance counselor, so she was pretty much moved out in a week because she didn't have to work full time. We had this huge apartment. It was spread out over 2 floors. It was awesome. We both had our own living space and offices. And we had a lot of furniture because as we were moving up to Boston and moving in together, her parents were moving from Boston down to Washington, D.C., and they had 20 years of stuff that we just accumulated. It was like we got married because we got dishes, silverware, and furniture, and all this stuff was shared and accumulated, and she got all of her stuff out that she wanted and left me with everything else to move out at the end. So literally I'm walking around the apartment and this is where we used to like cuddle on the couch and just crying. It was awesome. So she moved out. Eventually, I got my stuff moved out, and this is where the tow truck dude comes in. I had gotten it down to the very last bit of furniture, very last box, and I was going after work. I have an old car. It's like a '93 Ford Tempo, and I guess something on it died. I don't even remember the details. I don't do car technical stuff. I do internet technical stuff, kind of. And I'm driving down to Medford after work, getting to get my last box from my old apartment, and my car breaks down. And literally at that point, it was like a country song. It was like, my girlfriend left me, it's my last box, and my car broke down. And I had to wait like at least 2 hours, I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating, for the AAA to come. And he comes, and I'm looking for anybody to talk to at this point. And he's this big, huge African-American tow truck dude with this sour puss of a face. And I'm all like, thank you so much for coming. You don't know how much this means to me. I've been stranded on for 2 weeks. And he's like, whatever. I don't care. And he's like hooking up my car, and I'm like, this is so awkward. He doesn't want to talk, and I totally need somebody's shoulder to cry on. He's got some big shoulders too. This could be good or it could be bad. So he hooks up my car, and I get in, and we're driving along in stone cold silence, and it's like a 45-minute drive from Medford to my new apartment up in Andover, up 93 in Massachusetts. And I kind of get him going a little bit. He kind of asks me what I'm doing and what I'm doing out here, and apparently he had been to like 3 other tows earlier that day, and always complaining about stupid people on the side of the road and can't change a tire or whatever. And we get going. He starts talking to me about his fiance and his life a little bit, and it's cool. And I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. So he asked me, he goes, so why are you moving from Medford up to Andover? It's pretty far away. I was like, well, I want to be closer to my job. He's like, well, why are you moving? I was like, well, my girlfriend broke up with me. And he goes, oh, that hurts. I'm not gonna lie, that's tough. I've been there. But you know what? You gotta go out. You can't stay at home alone. You gotta go out there. You gotta find a bar or something, you know? You're not a bad looking dude. I'm not queer or nothing. But you're not a bad looking dude. You could do okay for yourself. And I'm like, aw, thanks, tow truck guy, for letting me know you're not queer or nothing, because I'm very vulnerable right now. This tow truck is so comfortable. You're so good looking. But he drives me up to my place finally, and he drops my car off, and he goes to kind of do the fist pound. And I don't know that gesture. I just know if somebody puts their hand out, you do the handshake thing. So he's like doing the fist pound, I'm doing the handshake. It's like, oh, awkward. But eventually he capitulates, I think, to the handshake. It's like, awesome. Yeah, handshake. He's like, yeah, man, so what's your name? I go, Brian. He goes, my name's Brian too. Us Brian's gotta stick together. I'm like, yeah, we do. High five. But he didn't want to do high five. So he left, and I learned something. I definitely learned something. I learned that if I'm ever at home alone, and you can take this with you, if I'm ever at home alone and I'm feeling lonely, I don't just stay at home. I go out. I go out and I take a nail and I stick it in my front tire of my car. I call up AAA. Can you send Brian over? And that's my story. Thank you very much.
Great play. You're in the middle of Texas, and it's South by Southwest. Dudes can hug dudes with impunity. It's fantastic.